Hello and welcome back to Remnant from the Ashes. Last time we ended up fighting Bruvak and the giant rat he rides. It's this version of Ornstein and Smough. We did that, explored another area of Elysium, and did the random event to get the scavenger set. But we're back here in... Can the map say where we are? No, we're going to have to hit the checkpoint. Actually, I think we can move up. At Watchers... Oh, God. Okay, fine. We'll hit the checkpoint. Actually, no, I have it here. It is at Watchers Hollow. So, remember, last episode we found a statue. And with the statue, there was one eye missing. Well, it turns out we have to come back here to this dungeon, you know, the one where we had all the prisoners that I felt was the violent impulse to just wipe them out. We actually have to find one of these guys, because one of these guys is not like the others. One of these guys has a very weird eye. Apparently. Aha! You! Creeper's Peeper. So, if you only take out the guy you need to, you also get this Swashbuckler's Signet, which we'll see what that is, because I don't know what it is. Builds one buff stack every 20 seconds up to a max of 3 stacks. Melee charge attacks consume 1 stack and replenish 15% of the wearer's ammo capacity for both firearms. Oh, wow, that's actually really good. Like, that is stupidly good. Because easy trick, Hero Sword, you slap that on, every 20 seconds you just launch a blade at someone. It hits them, boom, guy's dead or takes damage, you get 15% of your ammo back. So yeah, that's a really good find. So now we have to make it back to the other area. I'll just cut and I'll meet you back at the statue. Okay, so we're back here. It's in the same region, just far side of this area, and now we can put the Peeper in. Twin shot, unupgraded here, only plus 10, but it is a crossbow. Fires both. People are saying there's a trick you can pull to have it fire only one, but regardless, pretty cool. The damage on it, I mean, 120 is not bad. And considering it's a silent weapon, it's great for stealth builds. It just doesn't have the greatest range, but considering you're two-tapping people every time, you should actually do good and fine with it. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I never got that before, so neat little weapon there. And that might actually be really good. I don't know. The ammo capacity is a little swashbuckler. I could, if you really want to do some interesting stuff, you could run the swashbuckler, run the ammo boost ability, or other, I think it's a stockpile ring, whichever one gives you extra ammo capacity. And then for like the final boss in the normal story, run the sword, hero sword, and just when you're out of ammo, sling a couple charge attacks, get your ammo back, and then keep dumping. Or just use high capacity weapons and get a lot of ammo. But we'll get back to where we should be now that we've done all the backtracking stuff. Okay, so we're back in... It's like the Frostfall... Deep Frost Expanse. Knew it was something with frost. And now we get to head south, because it turns out these do look like they loop, so I could have actually had kept going last episode, not doubled back. But then I would have had the top area unexplored, and just better to get it all done at once. Let's see if we can get the other random events to spawn. Because I stopped for a second to look, and the ice axe I had mentioned, that is from a random event. So hopefully we can get that to spawn. It's not a, big deal breaker, but it'd just be neat to have. I gotta say, I do like the event, that Creeper's Peeper, because, yeah, you could just have mowed all those guys down without a second thought, not even realizing the event is a thing, and then be like, oh, I didn't get the bonus. Or you can be aware of it and then get cool stuff. And it's nice having not alt rewards, but bonus rewards on random events like that. I just wish this game, and I hope Remnant 2 does it, where depending on different areas you can damage, you could get different things, just like the old Souls games where if you hit a dragon tail, you can cut it off, or a gargoyle tail. I always loved doing that, because I thought it was the coolest thing having the game be like, hey, I saw that you did this thing you didn't have to do, here's an extra reward for it. Because then it makes me eager to try those boss fights and try to get alt rewards. Yeah, we already have that to a degree with like, hey, don't let the boss do this and get the thing. But I'm for more rewards, The more the merrier. I don't think anybody can really complain about getting too much loot. I do wish we had gotten like a third DLC that gave us another area. Just because if you're going in order, you get all this frost stuff, and then you're kind of done. And it'd be kind of cool to have a new area to be like, yeah, let's go use the frost. Okay, what's the deal with this dungeon? Exile's Trench. Ugh. This might be the good boss fight dungeon, or it's the bad boss fight dungeon. Because it's either the throwing knife guy, who is super easy, or it's the warden. And the warden fight is awful. And he's awful because he continually charges you, and he's just durable. That, plus he does like massive ice wave attacks, and you can dodge them. You just can't dodge them well. And that's kind of my problem, is you get kind of screwed on some of those fights. Which it doesn't happen often in this game, but I swear there's some fights where it more or less feels like you're taking guaranteed damage. And I'm just never big on guaranteed or near guaranteed damage fights. When it comes to like Elder Scrolls or something, sure, I don't care about damage at all. Usually I can play those games or Fallout on max difficulty, and it's a matter of once you get certain gear, you just ball out of control anyways. Like, that's especially true in Fallout. Fallout 4, if you start like hardcore or whatever the max difficulty, I think it's legendary, if you don't want the stupid healing or like medical stuff and survival aspects. But early on, you're almost getting one shot. You get just enough gear, not even good gear, just some legendaries under your belt. The game becomes a cakewalk. And of course, in that instance, God forbid you get something that does like bleed damage. I remember doing that, having like a bleed damage combat rifle, switched it to full auto, and the 25 points of bleed damage stacked, and you just melt guys. Which is so goofy. But it was a single player game, so you could get away with that. I was just thinking, I hope they don't implement like PvP in Remnant 2. Because I'm just... First off, let's be honest. Weapons for PvP? Devastator. Boom. Stagger, bleeding, high damage, easy weapon to use. Ruin? If they had something like Ruin with PvP, that would be stupid. Because you would either have to spawn the invader without a charge, so they'd have to land hits to get a charge, or if it spawns with a charge, it has to be very ineffective, but even then, it's a moot point, because if you're getting shot by another player, if you go down, they can probably still see you. So, odds are, they're gonna hit you again. That's actually a question that just made me think about some stuff, like, you could get away with that in maybe like Elden Ring, because there's open areas, but I'm just thinking, I wonder how open Remnant is going to be. Because you got to remember, all this stuff is still random gen. They want to make the random gen even more. So, how big and how random are we looking? I just really hope they start taking that random gen to loot. Because random gen being like, oh, it could spawn here is cool, but I would prefer random gen, like, full Diablo loot. I just love looting, and this game, you kind of run out of loot, and then you're like, oh, okay. But I mean, the same issue appeared in Elden Ring, where it'd be cool if you could have more random loot, but where do you start putting random loot? Like, what do you make random? Because, just like in this, you have The abilities are essentially the Ash of War system, even though this predates it. But it's essentially the same thing. Get an ability, slot it into the weapon you like, and use it. But if you remove that aspect, then you just have weapons with random abilities. And you could get absolute trash. I don't know, you could do like slight damage variation and magazine size and minor things like that, but it's an idea that realistically, if I were to sit down and be like, this is my pitch, I'd have to spend a little bit of time kind of figuring out where the randomness needs to come in. Because anybody can say, oh, just make everything random, but there is a line. There's always a line of where is random and where is too random. I think the big thing is the game would start shifting into more borderline MMO, I think, because you'd have to have stuff like set bonuses, kind of like how this game currently has set bonuses. I think stuff like that is too good to remove. But it just boils down to how do you implement it. I mean, you could do some cool stuff with, like, bosses, where you have... The best way to describe it is, you know how in Destiny they have, at least last time I played, they had weapons that were essentially each faction's weapons? Like, there were weapons that looked distinctly like Fallen weapons, or there were ones that looked like something the Hive would use. You could do something like that, where you have a mix of uniques, and then semi-uniques that you kind of roll, and it's like, oh, this was boss Boom Smash's assault rifle, and it might have a variety of somewhat narrowed down traits that are more exclusive to bosses of that faction. You could do interesting stuff. It's just how you do it. And like I said, it starts to dip into more MMO, which I think every game, more or less every game nowadays, is already kind of on that march to MMO-dom. Because think about it, everything wants to be live service. Keeps the game alive longer, you don't have to constantly be pumping out new games. Charge for DLC, charge for season pass, charge for whatever you want. MMO is the same way. You keep the game alive, you keep players playing. Well, everything's multiplayer. Only natural to implement multiplayer and have people play together. Everything starts to come to the same conclusion. All roads lead to Rome. And I don't think it's bad, it's just kind of, as I was saying it, it dawned on me that everything kind of comes to the same conclusion. And it's not bad, it could be interesting. Ah, it's the warden. I don't want to fight the warden. The warden sucks. Alright. Yeah, see, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, where even if you kind of dodge, you can't fully dodge out of his attacks. Yeah, now he does that. You also have to run... Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. It's stupid. Like, guaranteed hits. Because if you roll early, you still get hit. You roll late, you still get hit. Alright. So, we're gonna have to probably do some cheap strats here. We'll try Soul Link. There is no other weapon that's actually better for this situation. I could, if I wanted to. I could. Alright, I got an idea. It's stupid, it might not work, but we're gonna give it a whirl. So we'll toss Turret on there, get rid of that, switch to Hive Cannon, and then switch to Vulcan's Detonator. And we'll try to wombo combo this guy down, or at least thin out his armor. Because my primary is literally just to get the skulls out. That slammed. Alright, guy, come face me. Yeah. See how easy he went down with that?
Well, that was nuts.
Just goes to show you just how powerful that combo is. Also, Hive Cannon's stupidly broken. Like, it's not fair to use, really. I feel like it's almost cheating in a way, but I'm not gonna sit here and look a gift horse in the mouth. You give me stupidly strong weapons, I'm gonna use them. And it is balanced because you don't get a ton of ammo.
Bag's full.
But you can see, in theory, I could entirely or almost entirely switch off, but my skulls did distract long enough that it kept the boss distracted. That was a redundant sentence, but sure. They kept him away from me. And that gave me all the time in the world to shoot him specifically in the back. So I was getting max damage and worked out just fine. Hey, we're in the other part of the Deep Frost Expanse. Means right here is the door. You wouldn't believe how long it took me to discover that little trick of killing that boss, though. I spent a good hour bashing my head against a wall, trying to beat him before, and I could not for the life of me figure it out. But then I sat there, I had Vulcan's detonator, I was like, let's just go for it. What's the worst that can happen? Did it, spam fired, he got nuked. Yeah, Frostborn. That is... Oh, actually, I think we're getting the event right here, because... Yep, we cross this little bridge. We go down here. And we get this little hidey hole. Okay, neither of those can be broken, it looks like. I was about to say that's a big human, but yeah, that's a giant. And there's Frostborn. Which strikes apply frostbite stacks, charge apply 2. It's not the fanciest, but if you're looking to apply a status effect, there you go. One thing I do find funny about this game is status effects, even though they can be permanent on a character until you rest or use a consumable to remove them, are still more balanced than status effects in Elden Ring. I mean, look at blood loss in Elden Ring and tell me that is balanced. It's percent max health damage. While in this, it's just like, yeah, you deal X amount of damage, and then you deal reduced healing by 50% for a set time. That feels way more balanced and reasonable than just straight up, you just get chunked. The only way I would understand blood loss doing massive damage is if, like in this, you can stack 3 stacks of blood loss, or bleed. If you could do like a 4th stack, and that would trigger, but even then I'd say it needs to do less % health damage, but that I understand. Because like, oh okay, you've let yourself take multiple stacks. Admittedly, some enemy attacks just flat out give you a stack without any, like, warning. So that would need to be rectified, but otherwise I think it's pretty fair. I will say though, Root Rot... I hate when a game crashes. Do we have anything to turn into boss items? No. We do have a lot of stuff for... Actually, that's probably going to be good to have that powered up. Do I want to use the twin shot? Nah, not right now. Okay. But as I was saying, I hate the, like, interrupt from Root Rot. I think that's annoying. I would rather have some kind of tangible negative effect as opposed to just like, yeah, you're gonna stop running sometimes, you're gonna stop reloading, you're gonna stop shooting. That feels more punishing than damage. And when enemy, like, wizards can essentially conjure these effects at your feet, it feels kind of cheap, especially with Root Rot, it doesn't affect the enemy. You can afflict them with it and they're just like, oh, ouchie, ooh, Root Rot. And then they don't care. It's the one scene from Jurassic Park. The Dotson scene. Oh, Dotson, we got Dotson here. It's, oh, we got Root Rot here. See, no one cares. It's just how it feels. That is the most useless. That and radiation. Most useless status effects. Fire? Fire is great. Especially because no one in this game... Well, there are a couple enemies resistant to fire, but it is very few. It's the Screamy Triangle men, or floating Screamy Triangles in Rom. Could not think of the location. I was just like, it's the radiation place. But yeah, that's it. Rom has the only enemies, to my knowledge, who are... Well, that and I guess the Root who burst into flames and the dragon. So, a handful of enemies versus literally everyone else. When almost every other enemy in the game, you can look online, they're like, yeah, they're either like 5, 10, or 15% weak to fire. Well, damn, then I'm just gonna use fire. I think that's why Vulcan's detonator's so good. Because then, like we saw, I can slap corrosive and fire on a guy. What's he gonna do? His armor's getting shredded and he's burning to death. Not to mention getting shot. It's a hell of a combo. Ooh, Guardian Sanctum.
Stop! I know what you want, and I'm not going back. That was a close one. Are you okay? I think so. For now. The shadow is trying to get in. My friend and I just want to keep the shadow away. Earth. Oh, yeah. That's what it was called. I was there. A long time ago. They called me Clementine. I think. I remember a bed and a helmet. Lots of wires. And needles. The helmet made me dream about this place. This is my home now.
God, whatever the effect they have for the hair looks so bad when it moves. It's like a film grain almost. Looks so jank.
No. I don't want to go back. I like it here. I'm home. If I leave, I don't think I'll be able to come back. This is the Guardian. They protect this world. I dreamt about them when I was on Earth, when the shadow attacked. The Guardian brought me here. They saved me. My friend gave me their strength. We're a part of each other now. Root? You mean the shadow? The gnarled, twisty things? The Guardian showed me what the shadow, the root, did on Earth. The root destroyed everything. It's all gone. No! I don't want to fight. I'm happy here. I keep this place safe now. Look, I didn't let the shadow out. It's not my responsibility. My companion? You mean Mr. Ferguson? I wish I could have kept him safe. I'm sorry. I'm not going back to Earth. The root can't reach us here. No! Stop!
Guardian looking like a mix of something from Shadow of the Colossus and Kolek Suneater. Go, turret, solve my problems.
They're never gonna stop, are they? This leads to the root source. I feel it. I can get you in, but you will need to kill it. Are you ready?
Subject 2923 may have gotten you this far, but you're on your own now. You think you're saving the world, don't you? You understand nothing.
Yeah, credit where credit is due. The artist who did the Guardian did a really good job because they're able to convey so much emotion with just eyes. Ouch. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this fight just because, like, parts of it are bullet hell. And I think that's so stupid. It feels so out of place to be like, yeah, no, this boss fight, we'll make him a bullet hell boss, and then we'll do this. It's like, nah, just stick with the classic boss formats. Otherwise, it feels very incongruent with the rest of the game. Just have to hit phase 2.
The root is equality, immortality. Can man free himself from sickness and death? No. But I can. I was there at the beginning. I commune with Claw. I devised the destroyer. I have done everything to ensure humanity's inevitable serenity. I am one with them now. Infinite. I cannot be stopped any more than loving.
Wrong. You're just another heartless narcissist. Humanity's better than that. It's better than you. Get him, Traveler.
Impossible!
Yeah, I rolled out of that one. Come on, let me drink.
on. They're gone. Listen, I can't go back to Ward 13. It's not home anymore. Probably never was. But maybe we'll see each other again, eh? Someday. Take care, traveler.
Strange. This can't be right.
What is it?
Well, I'll be. You did it.
And that is Remnant from the Ashes, subject 2923. And also all of Remnant. The only things left are a few random boss fights, mostly on courses, but they're really nothing too important and there's no story tied to them. So now we just wait for the sequel. If you stuck around through all this, thank you. If you just showed up for the last episode, there's the entire playthrough. I stick to just the story. And yeah, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.